The story begins as we meet our protagonist named Belgrieve. He wakes up from a nightmare that happened 8 years ago. He still remembers the incident vividly, as a monster had Belgrieve's leg as a snack and forced him to become half man, half tree. While searching for some herbs, Belgrieve hears a baby crying but assumes that it must be a pixie's trickery. However, he discovers that it's actually a real baby. Underneath the baby is some hay for warding off evil spirits, so he determines that the baby was abandoned. Belgrieve decides that he has no other choice but to take care of the child. Years later, we find that he has named the kid Angeline and he trains with her. She is upset that Belgrieve actually struck her with a sword, but he tells her that she simply needs to get better and predict her opponent's behavior. At her request, Belgrieve picks her up, but tells her that she is 12 years old already and will soon be too old to be picked up. That night, Belgrieve thinks about how fast she has grown up and how surprised he is that Angeline chose to follow in his footsteps and become an adventurer. She asks to be held and promises to work hard on her own to become a great adventurer that protects the weak. The next day, Angeline heads off to the city and Belgrieve reminds her that nothing's more important to an adventurer than their own life. He tells her not to push herself too hard and she leaves. Several more years pass and we find that the city she went to is being terrorized by a dragon. Two adventurers combine their power to attack it with an arrow and a spell, and another hero arrives to finish it off. Onlookers are amazed to see that this hero was able to, with just a single blow, take down a wyvern that not even a double A ranker could handle. They quickly realize that she's the rumored S-rank adventurer, the black-haired Valkyrie Angeline. The other adventurers point out how Angeline is in high spirits and realize that it's because of her upcoming vacation. Angeline states that it will be the first time she has seen her dad in 5 years and excitedly heads off to pack. Back at the village, Belgrieve is given a letter from Angeline. His friend can't believe Belgrieve was helping with the crops again and points out that Belgrieve already exterminates monsters, manages the woods, and instructs their children. The letter explains that Angeline will be visiting, and Belgrieve's friends point out how amazing it is that she has achieved S-rank status. It's the highest rank awarded by the Orphan Adventurers Guild, so of course Belgrieve is extremely proud of his daughter. Back in the city, Angeline packs while her friends marvel at how much she must love her father. The girls wonder what he is like, and she tells them that he's kind, strong, and incredibly cool. She is proud to call him father. They are amazed to hear he is an adventurer, but she clarifies that he is a former one. He taught her everything she knows, and she still hasn't managed to land a single blow on him yet. This makes him even more amazing to the others, further proving Angeline's point that he is the best. Just then, Angeline is annoyed to see the guildmaster named Lionel show up at her door. Lionel is clearly terrified as he timidly explains that a swarm of Giga ants and their queen have turned up in Asterinos. Angeline instantly shuts the door on the loser and reminds him that she already submitted her request for time off. She is determined to go home, but Lionel begs her to reconsider. Her useless friends don't help the situation as they explain that if they don't go, Asterinos is as good as done for. Moments later, we see that Angeline has given in as she vows to kill every last one of the pesky insects. Back in the village, Belgrieve is excited to see Angeline arrive, but is instantly disappointed to receive another letter instead. It explains that she couldn't come because of an urgent job, and he hopes that he will see his daughter soon. We then watch as Angeline massacres the swarm of ants, and her friends point out how annoyed she must be. It's understandable as her vacation was ruined, and Angeline hopes that she will get to see her dad soon. Sometime later, the guildmaster is amazed to see that Angeline has completed so many jobs, and realizes that it's because she was in a hurry to go home. Angeline is finally on her way to visit her dad as she explains to her traveling companion that her father is known as Belgrieve the Red Ogre. The girl isn't familiar with the name, but she explains that only exceptional adventurers earn titles like that, so her father must be impressively powerful. Just then, they cross paths with the group attacking a girl. The girl begs to be let go and explains that she is in a race against time. Angeline tells them to leave immediately unless they want to die. They are shocked to hear her speak this way as she is heavily outnumbered. Angeline is furious since she will have less time with her dad now and explains that she will make them pay for it. After she takes them out, the girl thanks her and tells her that she is the third daughter of the Bardot family, Seren. Angeline thinks that someone so important should have more guards, but Seren explains that she got word that her father collapsed and is in critical condition, so she rode out to see him as quickly as she could with only her one guard. Angeline is amazed to hear that she's going to see her father, but Seren states that they have lost their horses. It's more than a 4-day walk to Bordeaux, and she doubts she will make it in time. Saren is ready to give up, but Angeline points out how that is her dear father she is talking about. She tells the driver to take them back to Bordeaux immediately. This shocks the driver as she tries to remind Angeline that she's supposed to be on her way to see her own father. Angeline is determined to take Saren to see her sick father though, so they all rush back together. Belgrave receives another message about Angeline cancelling her vacation again, but he is actually proud of what she did. Just then, he is called by a group to take them to the mountains. On their journey, Belgrave tells them to pay attention to their surroundings and to use all of their senses. They head to a watering hole nearby to search for an herb called the Devil's Dropwort. However, he tells them to not solely focus on that since they could run into beasts or monsters at any moment. While they do that, Belgrave remembers how he came here often with Angeline, and she was able to learn everything after seeing it just once. He is sure that it was more than just a child's quick wit, and isn't surprised that she made it to S rank. He puts himself down as just a wannabe quitter, but reminds himself that everything worked out since he found Angeline. Just then, their group is attacked by a monster. Belgrave steps forward to destroy the monster, but falls because of his wooden leg stump, and he thinks about how that would never happen to Angeline. Angeline's friends watch her as they point out how stressed out she must be. Angeline states that she is going to work so hard that next time she takes an extended vacation, the guild won't be able to say a word. They take her out to eat somewhere, and they all express how sad they are for her since she hasn't been able to go home yet. Angeline states that she doesn't know when she will be able to take time off next, but the others point out that she has done enough, especially after saving a daughter of Count Bordeaux. They are impressed that she was able to make a connection with such an influential noble, but Angeline doesn't care about any of that, and is just glad that Saren was able to see her dad. She is still determined to see her own father though. Angeline states that if she keeps up this pace, the guild won't be able to decline her next extended vacation request. The others don't mind working so hard either, since at least they are raking in the money. They have plenty, so Angeline's friends decide that they should give some to the orphanage. Angeline is surprised to hear about their kindness, and the girls explain that they grew up in an orphanage. The owner was like a mother to them, but they didn't have any father figure. Angeline never knew this about them and realizes that they have never talked about their life stories since they always just talk about monsters or adventures. Angeline then reveals that she was abandoned as a baby and her dad found her in the mountains. They are sorry to hear this and continue sharing stories. We then listen to another letter she has written for Belgrave. She apologizes for not being able to come home and explains that after reaching rank S, she joined her first party. At first, she wasn't sure about adventuring with companions, but eventually found that they were quite dependable. Miriam is a year older than her. She's a mage skilled in lightning magic. Even though she's shorter than her, she's actually very strong. This is frustrating for Angeline, but she states that she has faith in herself. Anessa is the oldest and very serious. She never misses with her bow. She handles all the troublesome negotiating that comes with jobs. Angeline exclaims that she would rather speak with Belgrave in person instead of writing letters since there is so much she can't fit in writing. She tells him that she misses him but is sure she will make it home next time. She asks him to wait for her and Belgrave thinks about how much he misses her too. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe.